So it's Thursday, June the 19th, and today's gonna be another workout vlog. So what today's gonna be is, I'm gonna be starting out with some front squats. I'm not gonna be going all that hard on them. I just like to get squats in twice a week when I'm doing regular training, not an 8x8 thing, but regular training. That way I get a little bit more stimulus of the squats. I'm not gonna be pushing as hard as with the back squats. I'm using this more as just a neural prep and a warm up for arm day. So first thing, jump right into the front squats with the warm up. So we go right away into the second warm up. So today I'm just going to stick with running shoes for it because it's not going to be that hard, I hope. So when I'm setting up for a front squat, I go with a clean grip. So I go about a thumb, first knuckle of the thumb away from the start of the knurling. That's just where it's comfortable for me. Yeah, so it's moving all right. Part of me is a little bit tender right now doing this. So it's a weird feeling. But that could just be some residual soreness from Monday still. The other thing is I'm not doing a lot of sets of this. I'm just doing a few just for stimulation. Yeah, it's just 185 pounds, nothing special. All right, so the front squats went meh. Not really all that great. Keeping in mind, I also haven't done front squats in 3-4 months now. So really rusty on it. Hand placement doesn't feel as good. It's not as fluid moving. That's why when you take things out and put them back in, you're not going to jump right back into doing things at the same level you were before. There's an adaptation period. And me, well, I'm clearly going to be in it for a week or two. Like a week or two more. So now, getting on to doing the actual arm work. So, while I don't personally have a preacher curl station or Scott curl station in my gym, one of the great things about the glute ham raise, it can double as one when you don't have one of those. You set yourself up pretty much the same way. Easy curl bars, what I'm going to be using today. The bar, it's like 20 pounds, might be 10 kilos, 22 pounds. I haven't checked for sure. But what I'm going to be doing is just regular preacher curls here. So lean nice and far forward over the pad so that when my arms are extended, they're going to be nice and straight at the bottom, but as well, part of my forearm is going to make contact with the actual pad. So from here, just a few reps to warm this up. And I'm going to be pairing this up with overhead triceps extensions. And I'm going to end up, for this, I'm going to be leaning back on the bench, almost like a skull crusher, but at an incline. So here, I lean back on it. Then we go up overhead. This way I can even rest my head right back. The workouts have been, I'm going for sets of 6 to 8 with this. So it's not overly heavy, but it's not necessarily something that's really light at the same time. Should be a struggle come the end, and 3 sets of it. I'm going to be potentially adding a pause at the bottom. With the skull crushers, there will definitely be a pause, but with these, I'll kind of see how it goes. The first set, definitely though. Lean back here. Yeah, first set went all right. So it's that pause at the bottom when it takes away that stretch reflex that you get. It makes it a whole lot harder, that initial part of the actual tricep extension. Because the bottom portion is where you're weakest. As you get past the halfway point, you get a little bit stronger at that point. All of a sudden, everything starts to gain almost like a little bit of momentum. But it's also just the way that extensor muscles are kind of designed. It's like when you do a squat, you get stronger when you come up. When you do bench press, you get stronger. Your triceps, as you get closer to lockout, they get a little bit stronger with stuff like a skull crusher. Ooh. One more. Yeah, even if I wanted to get a 9th one, there's no way in hell I was going to be able to get a 9th one. That was rough at the end. Whew. So you might wonder, why was I doing skull crushers in this way? If I do them flat on a bench, it's going to be a little bit different angle on the triceps and the shoulder. As well, I have to then go set up the bench as well. This allows me to be a little bit more efficient with the time and the space. I can just go back and forth between these two relatively quick. Instead of it being like a minute rest in between exercises or 45 seconds, I can literally just hop off here, come around, pick it up, and go if I want. Also, by being in this position here, when my triceps are up overhead, they're going to be at a little bit of an angle. Whereas if I'm on a flat bench, my triceps are going to be here. So when I'm doing them with this angle, they're here. So there's going to be a little bit different stimulus, as well as a different part of the strength curve that's going to be preferentially hit a little bit harder, because the hardest point in the strength curve for any exercise, basically, especially isolation, like a skull crusher, biceps curl, is when the muscle when the joint is at 90 degrees. So if I'm flat, doing it on the flat bench, and I start here, because everything's going to be perpendicular to the floor, when I'm here, that's the hardest point. But when I'm here, the hardest point is going to be up a little bit further, making it closer to the end range. That's going to be a little bit harder for it. As well, the first half of the movement is going to get harder and harder and harder. I just find this little bit different angle causes a little bit different stimulus. That's really, at the end of the day, why. Changing up the stimulus a little bit so that taking some of the weak points in, like when I do a bench press, making it a little bit stronger. So whenever I'm doing an arm workout, I prefer to kind of do supersets instead of straight sets. One of the big reasons for that is efficiency of time. You can get a lot of work in the same amount of time, and since some of they're more borderline isolation exercises for the most part, you can recover a little bit better in between sets, because it's not like a squat or a deadlift where you're using the whole body for it. You're using smaller muscles. Yes, you still need to recover, but by doing that other muscle group, for example, okay, biceps, and then the next thing I do is triceps. The biceps are recovering a little bit even while I'm doing the triceps. So it gives me a little extra volume in, keeps the body working, but the previously working muscles are still getting to recover a little bit. So then I'm able to get more volume of work in total in a single workout in less time. So instead of doing, like, say 3-4 exercises for each and do all biceps and then all triceps, and it takes an hour and a half, I can cut that time in half. That's one of the big benefits of doing superset training. Also, if you're looking for body composition stuff, you're keeping your body's lactate up, you're keeping all those byproducts up, so your body's trying to clear it, which means that the concentrations of those byproducts are also going to increase when you're supersetting, which means that you can then have faster fat loss or hypertrophy gains as well. 2 birds, 1 stone. Look at it that way. Efficiency. For those of you who only train 2-3 times a week, efficiency matters even more. Next up, we're going to be doing some incline hammer curls. So a hammer curl is just a dumbbell curl, or any curl basically with a neutral grip. I've also added the fat grips to the dumbbells. I'm going to be using 25-pound dumbbells for this. We're going 10 to 12 reps, not really focusing on any kind of pause here. It's just, okay, let's go and get it. The angle of the bench for this is 55 degrees. So, and I'm going to be pairing this up with some cable overhead triceps extensions, aka French press. So here we go with the curls. French press, I'm using the Prime Fitness CAS handles along with their Prodigy rack. I've got a 45-pound plate added to the pulley, so it's a little bit of weight, nothing substantial. So here you bring this up, elbows up beside your head, slight forward lean here, and then you're just up overhead. Again, going for 10 to 12. Whew. Whew. All right, so if you've been enjoying what I've been putting out lately and you'd like to see more, remember, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment and I'll answer them. All right, so this last super series set that I'm going to be doing, technically the D series, but the third series for the biceps, triceps. I know I'm going to break one of the cardinal rules of the gym. No curling in the squat rack. Well, I'm going to be curling in the squat rack on this one. I'm just going to be doing an empty barbell, 45 pounds, barbell curls, sets of 15 to 20, as well as banded triceps press downs. The reason for the banded triceps press downs is that it's scalable. So as you fatigue, you can change how high up you're holding so that it gets a little bit easier, but also it's a great way to just kind of finish off your triceps. Yes, it's going to be intense and hard, but the thing is, it matches the strength curve of it. As I was saying before, when you're doing triceps extensions, you get a little stronger as you go. Well, if these, as you're pressing down, you get a little stronger. This gets a little bit more resistance as you go, so it makes the exercise a little bit harder, matching where you're stronger. So, without further ado, jump right into the suffering here. So in between the 1 and 2 part of this, relatively short rest, and then I'll take a longer rest after. So here, 15 to 20 again. So. All right, so this is the last set of the workout. Just 2 sets of these 2 exercises. Yes, you'll see that I sway ever so slightly with this. That's just as the center of mass kind of moves, I'll end up moving, but I'm trying as best as I can not to. As well, keep the elbows back as best you can. Whew, already feeling it bad. Yeah, that's all I got there. Now let's see if there's anything left over here. Here we go. All right, that concludes today's arm workout. Started off with some front squats, then we got into some direct arm work. So my post workout is just going to be the simple stuff I've been having. 1 scoop of ATP Labs grass-fed whey, a half scoop of their greens and red superfood mix, both of which, as well as all ATP Lab products, you can get 10% off your order at atplabs.com at the link below using code RISLING10, that's RISLING 10 at checkout. And then the last thing in my post-workout is going to be 5 grams of creatine monohydrate. So go get after your workout, go get a gun run in. Coach Tony, Wrestling Podium Performance. Embrace your potential.